is because I realized that was really holding me back. So when you're saying how do I decide what to do in a day? It has literally boiled down to the concept of being like Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a winner. Tom Brady is 44 years old and he is still one of the best football players in the league. That does not happen by accident.
You heard what she said. You have to be intentional about creating the life that you want to live. We live in a world where not prioritizing yourself, burning the candle at both ends, and running yourself ragged has become something that we're almost proud of. And we need to take a step back and normalize putting yourself first and listening to your own intuition and slowing down, because the truth is women who prioritize themselves achieve more. If you're new here and you don't know who I am, my name is Daveda and I help female dreamers and doers unlock and uncover the hidden habits that are holding them back from creating the life they truly want to live. And in today's video, we are going to talk about how prioritizing yourself and putting yourself first is actually going to help you achieve more of the things that you want to achieve. So maybe you're an overworked mom, maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you burn the candle at both ends with your job. Whatever the case is, I know that today's video is going to give you some aha moments and some insights into how you can achieve more by prioritizing yourself and learning to listen to what you actually want in life and stop being afraid to take the chances on yourself that you need to take in order to get where you want to go. Now, if you're like a lot of other women and you struggle with the confidence to actually make these changes, you can check out this video right here for tips on how to become a stronger, more confident woman. Before we jump into the meat of today's video, don't forget to hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I release new content. And as you're going through today's video, if you hear something you like, I'd love it if you would give the video a like and leave a comment and let me know what your takeaways are. Last week in my Go Beyond Yourself membership for women, I interviewed Emily Marshall of Marshall Remodel, and we talked about how you prioritize your life. We talked about how you take big chances, and she shared a little bit of her story with us. Our time with her was so good, I went through and I grabbed some of the highlight moments from our video. A little bit of her sharing her story of how they got to Marshall Remodel, and also how she prioritizes as a busy wife, mom, and entrepreneur. And I think you're going to get a lot out of today's video. So with that being said, here we go.
We decided that life wasn't what we wanted, and so we needed to make a big change. So we created this business, Marshall Remodel, because we had been remodeling homes most of the time while we were living in them. And so we started Marshall Remodel. We decided, hey, let's remodel our lives. Like, we're pretty good at doing these houses, but our life needs a big overhaul. Like, nothing's working. So we picked up and we moved to Des Moines, Iowa, because everybody asked us why Des Moines. We're like, we drove through it a few years ago and said, this looks like a nice place to live. And so literally that's the reason why we live here. And we actually, we ended up moving out to Madison County. So if you're familiar with the bridges of Madison County, the book, the movie, that's where we live. We actually live on a road that has one of the covered bridges. And we decided to build ourselves a post-frame home. So this whole renovating our lives process kind of was also intertwined with starting a brand new business and also deciding to start a new home build for ourselves. We had never built a brand new home before. And so, and we were like, let's build one of these post-frame barnuminiums that are kind of like starting to become popular. So my husband quit the job he had gotten when he moved to Iowa, and we went all in. We started a YouTube channel. We have been filming everything for like over 2.5 years now, and it's pretty much led us to where we are today. So our business, our YouTube channel, and everything like that, that's our full-time gig. That's how we support our family, and yeah, so I mean, we're kind of if you want to talk to somebody who has had what would have been a very just comfortable middle class existence and decided, hey, let's throw literally all caution to the wind, that would be us.
On some of, I mean, I watch them all, but I keep up on some of your YouTube videos, and your home is beautiful. So you guys that are watching, when the interview's over, if you want to check it out, if you want a little bit of home envy, go to Marshall Remodel on YouTube, and you will also get a taste of how organized Emily is. Which is what we're going to dive into today, is with all of this going on, with the children, with the business, with the move, with the husband, and
Yeah.
just even being two individual people who need a sense of self, you have to be able to prioritize and organize to get all the things done. So can you share, like, how do you, with all the different wheels spinning, how do you decide what actually needs to be done today? And because I think for a lot of people, myself included, there's so many things you want to do and there's so many things you want to get to, but it's a matter of learning how to determine what should come first.
Sure. So, well, I'll try to make this simple. I'm going to kind of share a little bit about like what I've been through personally over the last almost year now, and that will definitely tie into things. So I would say that when you're an entrepreneur, and or you just maybe have a side business or something like that, so you have something extra, you have something that is demanding a lot of your time and your energy, it's really easy for boundaries to just get obliterated all day every day. Like it's shocking how easy it is for you to try to set a boundary in your life in some area, and for just something to come up that feels like a fire that you have to put out, or somebody's need that you have to meet. So, with that being said, as we're growing this business, I really deprioritized and didn't set good boundaries with my like just personal well-being. And so, that's one thing that I've kind of gotten organized in a lot better this last year, is because I realized that was really holding me back. So when you're saying how do I decide what to do in a day? It has literally boiled down to the concept of being like Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a winner. Tom Brady is 44 years old and he is still one of the best football players in the league. That does not happen by accident. Like, I have some people that are like, oh, well, he's rich and people do stuff for him. And I'm like, yeah, but have you ever been almost 40 or in your 40s and gotten up in the morning? Like, he's 44. Like, there are creaks, there are groans, there are pains. And so so that became my attitude that I adopted, was I want to be like Tom Brady. I want to be a winner. And a winner like sets the mindset that anything that doesn't get me that isn't pushing me towards winning is not something that I need to do. It's going to keep me from getting to that end goal. So, being disorganized, that's not being, living with a win, thinking like a winner. Deprioritizing my health, that's not living like a winner, things like that. So, so it started with, I said, okay, so much of my life is out of control. I want to be like Tom Brady. I want to win. So what can I do? Well, I can control what I eat. So my friend decided they're going to do 75 hard. I did 75 soft. So I decided, I was like, I'm going to do something for 75 days. I'm going to create some new discipline in my life. I'm going to eat really well, no alcohol, do all of that, those sub things that they do in 75 hard. And I'm going to see what happens to like just my overall mindset, because you can organize a cabinet, but unless you feel like, you've got kind of things in order in yourself, then it's not enough. It's not enough just to have your cabinet organized. You have to feel like you're organized in yourself. And it's one of the things you can control. You can, as I'm drinking my Starbucks, which I didn't do during the 75 days, but you can control what you're consuming. You can control that part of your body. So I did that. And really if I could say what's one thing you could start today, it would be something like that. Like, make a shift like that with things that you can control, decisions that you can make. Be like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to be a winner.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that really has actually made so much of this other stuff a lot easier, a lot easier to decide what is good for me in a day. And sometimes what is good for me in a day is sitting down at the end of the night and watching some TV. So, I know, most of the time everybody's like, well, you can never do anything recreational if you're trying to be an entrepreneur. And that's actually not true. You probably should do some things that are recreational now and again.
And I wanted to add something to that also, when you said about you can organize a cabinet, but if you don't have what's going on in here, this is actually, it is very true. Like when I work with people and we start digging into the small T traumas, the things that are affecting their day to day, the hidden habits and patterns that they don't even realize that they have that are hindering them. One of the things that I see a lot of is what is your external environment is a direct reflection often of what's happening inside of you. And that can be maybe that you're super messy, you don't know how to organize, but it can also be the opposite of that, where maybe you're overly organized and it's like the sense of control because you don't know like how to let go. And so when you say like taking care of you is the number one thing to organizing and prioritizing, I can't stress enough like how important that is to start with what's happening inside of you.
But what I found was that it provided so much more clarity, because I was able to say, I actually am in charge of this area of my life. So it actually helped me then become in charge of more areas of my life, and, maybe help make those boundaries that I needed to set in some different areas, make them actually stick, because I had enough focus and clarity that when those boundaries were compromised, I was able to kind of like regroup and say, oh no, that's not what we need to happen. So it's simple things like if I don't eat well, or if I, drink alcohol or drink too much coffee or do something like that, well, then it's really impacting the rest of my day. The next day, it's really impacting how well I can perform and do the things that I need to do. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I think it comes down to also knowing who you are and how you're wired and what is functionable for you. Because you mentioned like, I'm the kind of person where I require an ample amount of downtime. I don't fire off well at 150 miles per hour all the time. I can do, I can, hit the gas and drive it hard for a minute. But if I try to do that all the time, that's when I break down. That's when I feel overwhelmed. That's when I feel burnt out. And so it's a matter of learning. Some people are wired that way. Some people are wired to go, 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 go. And they're energized and fueled by it. I am not one of those people. You will get more from me if I get my downtime, right? Like if I work less, but in working less, I've also had to learn how to determine what do I actually have to do today that's going to get me to my goal of where I want to go. Because there's so many shiny objects, especially, when you're building any kind of a business. Oh, could we do this? Could we do that? Could we add, this product in, you know what I mean? Like what fits, what do I need to do? And I think that holds true regardless of what it is that you're trying to prioritize or organize in your life. Like, how do you function and what is going to get you where you want to go? If you're focused on relationships right now, like if that's your hurdle, what's going to improve the relationship? What's going to improve being a better parent? What's going to improve your business? What's going to improve all the different things? And like Emily said, it always starts with you. I mean, the common denominator in no matter what it is that you're trying to improve is starting with you. It's knowing yourself. It's doing the 75 soft or the 75 hard. I would do the 75 soft also. To just learn who you are and how you function, and not to compare that with other people, because that's just gonna get you nowhere fast.
There's a minuscule amount of people in the world that that driving hard all day, every day, nonstop works. It's
Right.
a tiny, tiny portion of people that actually works for. The rest of us do it, and then we burn out and go up in flames.
Yes.
And it allows you, when you make that shift in focus and you say, I'm going to learn who I am and I'm going to function like as a result, I'm able to look at people who do burn the candle at both ends and seem to never burn out. And I'm able to just get inspired by them and some of the things that they say. Like the guy who created 75 Hard, I listened to one of his podcasts the other day, and he said, stop overvaluing your current situation. He said, most people don't take risks and go for things because they're putting way too much value over what's currently going on. And so while I'm like, I'm not doing 75 Hard, that's an example of I'm taking something from what he said, and I was like, well, that is exactly what we did. We left a job with a pension and guarantees and all of those kinds of things and said, we're not going to put more value on this than is actually worth it. What's the worst that can happen? So, we get to the end of this and we have this, beautiful house, and we have to sell it, and we end up with all of that equity to start over. Like, we're like, okay, that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and he said most of your decisions are not like, they're just not life or death decisions. They're not things that are going to derail you forever.
There you have it. Taking chances, throwing caution to the wind, creating and building the life that you want, giving your life a total remodel. If you've never checked out Marshall Remodel, be sure you go check out their YouTube channel and look at the beautiful homes that they're creating. Also, drop a comment, let me know what your favorite part of the video was, and don't forget to hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I release new content. I also have a free resource for you below. It is a vision board template along with video instructions to help you know exactly how to create a vision board so that it doesn't just hang on your mirror and collect dust. So you can actually take actions. You'll find that link below in the description. This is Daveda signing out. I'll see you next time.